Welcome. Welcome in. Hey, this is the Rhonda Lou Moxie Show, and today we're going to be talking about the 3 signs that your voice is shut down. So, if you've ever had a situation where you're like, like wanting to say something, I'm going to show you 3 ways that it really shows up, and one of them may amaze you. And I'll tell you stories around that also, because that's one of the things of being on thyroid medicine for 20 years and being off thyroid medicine for almost like going towards 9 years. Oh, there's so much to learn here. So I'm so happy to have you here for the Rhonda Lou Moxie Show. I'm going to give you the definition too. There's actually a name for when your vocals are shut down. I didn't even know that. So I'm really excited about talking about this. I have dealt with this all my life, and I find that a lot of people actually are shut down and we don't even realize it. And the more that we start acknowledging how our voice can affect somebody in a real positive way or constructive, like really learning to be constructive, where you're building those beautiful walls so people truly do know how to manage being around you, because you want to be asking those things about, you know, please treat me this way, not that way. This is important to me. Maybe yesterday you were able to say that, but it doesn't feel good. Those kind of conversations, and knowing that your voice is fully strong when you feel empowered. And I really want to feel empowered these days. How about you? I think it's one of the most important things to get out there and vibe and shine. And I call this hashtag speaker locking arms. This is where we really get to support each other and being able to be out there, not just smiling at people, but it's like the latest smile is now the latest vocal opening yourself up. I was just watching the Joe Dispenza, side note here. I was just watching the Joe Dispenza movie that came out, and there's so much science around now where we're just verbally inside closing ourselves down, and what the science is really showing, when we're thinking negative thoughts, what it actually does chemically in our body. And when we step out of that and we go and we reach out and we just start feeling more positivity, which this show is really about, that there's a chemistry thing that happens. And when your nervous system is calm, the nervous system does what it naturally does. And the first thing is recognize, when you slice your fingers to have a slice, your body is ready to heal it. Same thing with your insides. When your body is calm, your hormone system, your whole system is calm, that's when your body starts creating things which they call like a pharmaceutical process, where your body will start creating protein, so good stuff for your muscles. It'll start creating um, the process, like the energy of the ATP process, and it goes on and on. So I'm so excited to really talk about this stuff. I think this is why we need to be together. Today I'm going to show you, it's going to be more virtual. I'm going to show you a snapshot, a picture of it. But let's work on the freedom pillar under vulnerability today. I love using this tool. Now, if I'm working with businesses, when we start opening our vocals and we start talking about freedom, safety, and healing, there's something about opening your vocals and really waking up and healing your moxie. And this is around sexy, wealthy life and business. And if you know how to use the sexy, it's like it's the beginning of what we're talking about here. That's where your healing is, when you start feeling whole, feeling wholesome, feeling love, feeling appreciated, being able to feel your heart. Take a deep breath in. Roll your shoulders back. Let's be present. Take another deep breath in. All right, here we go. Let's start off with the definition of what it means when your voice is shut down. And it says that I can start from childhood. Now, I remember stuff happening when I was a child. And being made fun of because I would pout. And pouting is shutting yourself down, believing that yet your voice isn't empowered. And so being shut down, maybe there are people around you that made fun of you that thought, like just did all these different things because they're making fun of you or they're trying to get you to talk. But what happens is they call it the selective mutism. So I guess you're selecting when you shut yourself down because internally there's something happening in the background. We say 60,000 words to ourselves every day. And there's words and phrases, and 80% of that is known to be negative. I know we're repatterning, rewiring our brain. And so that 80%, we want to swipe out and have, maybe 20% negativity. And those cycles, 90% of those cycles are over and over and over. That's been going every single day. But this work is going to help with creating the abundance in life, creating that you deserve more love. I love that. I was working with somebody, Nicole Diavola, and she's incredible. If you're looking for somebody for some spiritual guidance, you will want to connect with her. She's incredible. Wow. She's real busy right now, but she may have some time for you. So selective mutism is an anxiety disorder where a person is unable to speak in certain social situations, such as with classmates at school or to relatives they do not see very often. It usually starts during childhood and, if left untreated, can persist into adulthood. I know if you don't treat it, then of course it's going to stay in adulthood. We are total kids. When you're 5 years old, you know how you used to pout or used to get angry? Well, this is what's happening as an adult. We may be an adult body acting like an adult, but oh my gosh, when we start acting up, you're acting up as if when you were a kid, you were doing these patterns. So if you go the Moxie lifestyle, you start being creative and leaning in. When somebody says something to you that might be detriment to your ego, somebody can say, you're negative. And how do you receive that? Fight and say, no, you are, because you find reasons why they're negative. Well, they may be, but the first conversation is right now, it's in front of you. And if you're feeling in that negative space, it's difficult to get out of it. That's not unusual because we were just talking about the patterns in the brain, talking about how we get stuck. So let's talk about the 3 ways of your vocals being shut down. Now, there's many, but I just wrote a few. I decided let's just do 3. One of them is that you don't believe that your voice actually has any say in anything. Like when you say something, somebody will just talk over you. People won't hear you. You don't have your energy towards what you're saying. And the story in your mind may go something like this. Well, I shouldn't say anything anyway. Nobody listens to me. That can show up when you're not in your full vibrato, your full vocals, like that you really feel like you have something to say. Like that's like, hey, I'm here. I have something to say. When you're talking, you're not in your full space, head space, body space, first chakra really hunkered in. It may show up a little different. Maybe like, hey, what I was thinking. And then somebody comes and steps in. Remember one time I was over at Dillard Elementary. My kids are going to school there. And this is all around PTA. Oh my gosh, I had issues around PTA. Anybody else have any issues around PTO, PTA? Because that's when you'll get triggered the most because you're at your elementary school. If you had issues while you're going to school and you didn't connect with school, and then you get involved with the PTA, PTO group, oh my gosh, there'll be triggers all the time. That's what I was dealing with. Triggers all the time. So then I was talking to somebody, and it's probably something really important because it was like about like trying to get some stuff done, move it forward, whatever. And somebody just walked right in front of me. Her name was Sarah. Just stepped right in front of me and just started talking. Now, there's 2 scenarios that happened here. One that's actually real that I didn't see because I could only see what was happening for me until I started doing this work and realizing Sarah was going through her own issues too. So I'm talking to somebody, and when she stepped in, all of a sudden, I'm like, here, wait, that, mm, how dare her? She does that. Oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden, demise of me just start getting smaller and smaller. And the old habits of whenever you use your voice, nobody really wants to listen to you anyway. Nobody wants to hear your voice. Your voice is um, you're saying things, but you're not saying anything that anybody really is deeming that's very important. Think about how I felt while I was pushing myself down saying those things. And to me, it was fact. Every time, like I'm finding these reasons of fact. Like every time I do this, this is what happens. Anybody else ever feel that? I totally get it. It's easy to feel that way. I have two more, by the way. But let's see, for Sarah, she was dealing with anxiety. She was trying to get stuff done. She works really, really fast. She doesn't know how to work in partner unless you're working really, really, really fast. And I can do that. But if I'm shut down, I'm working kind of like in a thoughtful process, and I can't get into that next gear until I give myself, okay, you're doing a good job. Okay, now ready to go. So when you're shut down, you can even find your work that you're doing that you're afraid to go to the restroom because you can't even move because you're thinking, I don't have trust within myself. Trust within myself to believe that I can actually get this stuff done. There's a whole gamut. That could be number two, but I actually have a number two here. That when you get really, really angry, you shut yourself down because you go, if I say anything, they're so lucky I didn't say anything. Because if I said anything, they would feel, and then you just kind of go off on it. Like they would feel this, and this. Boy, they're so lucky that I didn't do that because that would have just made them feel bad. And they really needed to feel bad because they were doing blah, 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 blah. And you just go on and on and on. Oh, have you ever done that? Well, the reason why we're talking about shutting down your vocals is it's a health issue. And it's a communication issue. And it's a way to shame and blame yourself. And when those vocals get shut down, the vibration on your fourth chakra goes, and it totally stops the circulation. You get restricted there. Anything like this coming up for you on what you're feeling about any of that? Do you see yourself in any of those things? Now, if you keep moving forward in this, what happens is what we're talking about here. And I'm going to get into in a moment the freedom pillar. And I'm going to get to the third one of of the three signs that your vocals are going to be shut down. So I have the third one, but I'm going to do that once we talk about vulnerability. So let me share my screen for a moment. You know what? Yeah, let me share my screen. So this is where we're looking at when we're looking at the freedom pillar, how to work with vulnerability. Let's not do entire screen. Let's go right here. Okay. So right now you can only see my screen. So when we're looking at the freedom pillar in our vocals, if we can start feeling that we want freedom, safety, and healing, there's something powerful in your day where you're going to find that motivation. You're going to feel tenacious. You're going to feel excited. That freedom is that your vocals are open and you know there's something special with the interchange, the interaction between others, and that you stop proving yourself. But to get there, you're going to see the first step is fabulous. We've talked about fabulous quite a bit. Today, we're talking about vulnerability. And if you work up this pillar, learning to be vulnerable, learning to receive people's information to you, you being able to receive when somebody's helping you, feeling sexy energy. We've already brought up sexy. Truth, knowing that what the direction you're going is truth. And when we question truth, that is like one of the biggest triggering things. I got to tell you, when I was new in this industry, the coaching industry, every time I said something about truth and people trusting themselves, it was a big trigger. And I didn't know that this was something that across the board, everybody I was coaching was dealing with that. I started noticing that. And I started getting into myself, like, what is it that I have trust issues with? And I mean, we can put it on everybody else, but the issue is that if we don't trust ourselves, like when we say we're going to do something, if something significant comes up and you go, okay, that I thought that we need to get into this, that's another thing. But when you don't do something, you don't do something that say you're going to do, your brain goes at you, berates you, and everything else. So that's the last one right before you get to the freedom pillar, which we were just talking about. So I want you to look at this again because I'm going to start talking about vulnerability. Vulnerability. Take a breath into that. Who wants to feel vulnerable? Who wants to feel sad? Maybe you say, not me, but for the Rhonda Lou Moxie lifestyle, the Moxie lifestyle, I say I'm all in. I want to feel all my emotions so I can feel that those old synapses in my brain is coming at me that oh, there's one thing I want to say here. This is a sidebar, but this might help you also. That I had a client that we start talking about this. When you show up this way, those are triggers. But when you're getting deeply quiet and you're within yourself, take a breath in, everyone. And then exhale, release. Take a breath in and release. You feel that calming space. That's the beginning of feeling who you truly are. Being able to be connected with your emotions. The triggers come from the synapses of the brain, all the imprints through your life. And it started at the beginning when you were younger, and now what they call like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you're saying, I'm not good enough because this is what's showing up, or I'm going to shut my vocals down because this is what needs to happen. This is where the vulnerability comes in. We need that exposure of feeling sad and vulnerable so that we know to go in deeper. So when you're feeling that, the reason why you want to be in that is because anything that's coming up, you want to say, okay, I finally hear you. And I'm tired of that pain. I don't want to feel that anymore. And you start having a different conversation with yourself, a total different conversation. You ready to have a different conversation? That's why we are sharing about this vulnerability pillar. And if you want this handout, I'll give that to you. You just tell me that you want this. But vulnerability is when you take a breath in and you think you just can't get out of it. It scares you. You don't want to hold any space to that. So maybe you'll go drink your caffeine. You'll go eat some sugar. You'll do whatever it is to get out of that vulnerable, scared state. So you get scared. That's part of being vulnerable. But when you're on this journey and you learn there's something about that, something about you wanting to feel what's happening here and now instead of pushing it down and thinking that you are brave because you pushed it down. It takes a strong person to push that down. It takes a strong person to keep pushing it down over and over and over. And every time you push it down, your energy gets stolen from your energy bank. And that is scary because then you get into adrenal fatigue and you're constantly exhausted and you're constantly constantly not feeling the vibe that you want. I want the freedom. I want the safety. I want to heal. I want all those pillars. So there's a sustainability in life. If I'm putting energy into the energy bank, I don't want it to be stolen based on my cycles in my mind. I don't want that anymore. It's like I'm so tired of that old software. I'm ready to up level it. But also want to bring up the Joe Dispenza stuff. You have to go out and check out that movie. If it's still available, it's only available for 24 hours at some point. It's just about your health. And if you are stressed out, your nervous system gets affected by that because stress moves the adrenaline, and it moves the nervous system. It moves the liver to create the energy to keep you nervous. Your pancreas is trying to help that sugar get into your cell because your liver is throwing sugar out. I'm stressed. I need this energy because this is extra energy. But if you're calm, your liver doesn't have to work. It works to harmonize the endocrine system, keeping it smooth and flowing. The liver overworks when you are stealing and robbing from the bank by your thoughts, by hanging around people that really don't appreciate themselves to appreciate you. So many reasons why that would show up. Okay, so the last part here so how's that feel about stepping into vulnerability? I know I have a client right now I need to get to talking about. She has these breakdowns and it's so perfect. That's like when her personal growth is happening. But we haven't talked a lot about that. So when she's having that breakdown, she's breaking down for a specific thing. Like she wants to cry, she wants to throw that tantrum, but she's so used to keeping herself together. She says it, but you don't really know what's happening. It's just like, I am in so much pain. And you're like, I don't feel that from you, because she's been so closed off for so long. So let's get into the third way that your vocals are shut down. Now, this is in your personal life, and if you have a business, it has to do with social media. In social media, if you are not posting the way that you want to, like you may be posting, but you're not posting. You're not using those words, empowering yourself. You might just say, hey, and that's it. And then a picture. Or quote somebody else constantly, but never using your vocals. This is all about being shut down too. So when you're not liking, like you're reading stuff and you're not liking, you're not like commenting, but you're just like eavesdropping, on people's life, but you're not really adding in. I just don't have time. I'm just trying to, like, whatever your sabotage is, this is about really stepping in to who you really are, is to really speak. Like, I just love sharing my heart. So when I'm seeing things out there, I just love to express and connect with people. And there's times that I don't feel that good about myself because I'm exhausted or I'm not doing my morning work. So you're hiding on social media. So it means maybe you're not even posting. Or maybe when you're doing something, you're not even being yourself. You're just being somebody else that does not even fit who you are. Same thing in your personal life. Not reading, not commenting, talking bad about others because social media, everybody just looks so perfect. Well, would you want them to look any different? And these are people hiding. I mean, they just want to, get the perfect picture, the perfect this, the perfect that. And I realized that I was doing that for a while, the perfect picture. And I'm like, I look a little swollen today. Or, my hair doesn't look so good. I'll still post it. Because I don't want to hide anymore. I really, truly want to be myself. So this is the last part of this, of recentering. When you take a deep breath in, Allow your body to receive and feel that. Allow your body to feel the vocals open up, that you're ready to open up for more. You're ready to live life. You're ready to add energy to the energy bank. You're ready to be upfront and straightforward in your relationships. You're ready to share love. Yes, it's vulnerable because whatever's new is different, and whatever's different is going to be very uncomfortable. So bringing in the vulnerability, noticing where you're personally shutting your vocals down. You can go blame somebody else. Don't blame yourself. Like I need to take ownership of this. And the only way to stop blaming yourself so you're with us partnering, hashtag speaker locking arms, no more shaming, no more blaming, is that you're recognizing that you're shutting yourself down before anybody else is. And if anybody else is shutting you down, you go, I don't accept that. That's not okay. And you move forward instead of fighting with the person that's telling you things about shaming you. I've had plenty of those in my life. Have you too? You're like, I'm tired of you shaming me. Being a blonde growing up, there were a lot of blonde jokes out there. Well, it actually shifted the mentality that people believed that blonde people were not very smart. I had direct information to me that people thought that. So I would over be smart, even though inside I was like, oh, you're so dumb. But I'm not. But I was saying that. And I had some people say, wow, you're really smart. And for being a blonde, I'm surprised. And I didn't even think that you were going to be that smart. And I heard that in scenarios with jobs, with different things. Do you have something in your life where you're looking at a blonde and you're calling them a dumb blonde, or you're calling them a bimbo blonde? Because, because their body looks a certain way, because they're dressed a certain way. Let them be. Allow yourself to heal from that. Because the more you say negative stuff to people inside, not to them, why would you say you're a dumb blonde? Unless you were laughing and thinking that could go by them as a joke. And remember this, every word you say actually comes from something. So if somebody says, I'm just joking, it's like, well, there are other things to think. Why did you even come to that conclusion to even say that? Why is it even in your sphere, your mental ability, to even think of even saying that? Because it hurts feelings, even if you're joking. Every word you say, it's coming from something. You could be saying something totally different, but you chose to stay in that area. So you got to learn to listen to your subconscious and learn when your vocals are shut down. Deep breath in. Exhale anything that has started releasing. Think about when you first came into how you feel now. Take a breath in and let it go. Exhale. Shh. Let it go. Let it go. Allow this information and things that are happening. Allow yourself to step in deeper and let yourself rest for a moment after this for your transition. Write in your journal of things that you really were starting to feel or start acknowledging. Notice when you feel vulnerable, because it's all there to calm the body so your body heals, so that you look incredibly awesome every day. Namaste. Love you. Appreciate you.